Here's the situation. This is not part of the Phantom Squad organizational scope, but we do have people reach out to us for assistance or guidance. Here's the scenario, guys. We have twins that actually committed a murder. One twin actually was the shooter. The other twin was in the car while in the grocery store getting some food or waiting by. When he heard gunshots that his other twin actually committed the murder, he went to his aid to see what's happened. The twin jumped in the car, they drove off. Now both of them are doing life for murder. What are your thoughts about that?
My thoughts are what evidence do they have, and what was the conviction as far as what did they get? They got life in prison, of course, but you can't try somebody for a murder that one pulled the trigger and one didn't. You understand what I'm saying? If he pulled the trigger, then that's the one that should be convicted for the murder. Yes, the other twin was involved as far as the getaway driver, whatever, but he should be getting a lesser sentence than that.
But let me ask, why would you think he was the getaway driver if he didn't know what was going on? That's like right now, me and you are sitting here, somebody walks up and I blow their head off. You had no idea I was going to do that. Why should you be an accomplice?
Well, I understand what you're saying as far as why should that person be an accomplice and so forth. But here's the thing. If you're convicted of murder and you pull the trigger, you were there, you didn't pull no trigger, you didn't shoot anybody. You understand? What I believe is that you should get a lesser sentence, if any at all, because the mere simple fact that you didn't pull that trigger. Once you pull that trigger, that bullet's not coming back. So, you know, why should I be convicted and go to life in prison for something I did not do? They're convicting him because he pulled the trigger and killed someone. I didn't do that. So why should I be have life in prison behind something my brother did, regardless if he's my twin or not? You know, so the way I feel about it is they couldn't determine which one pulled the actual trigger, and they threw the book at both of them. That's the wrong thing to do.
Here's the dilemma. They actually know which twin did it. They knew that from jump, so they got the surveillance footage, they got everything. Now, they want to build a stronger case. It seems like they want his brother to testify on him, but that was the main thing. Like, would you actually testify on your brother? Why should you, if you know you have the surveillance camera and you know who did it? Why should you have to testify against your brother?
One of my questions I was thinking about is, you have the option of leaving the scene or getting involved in the scene. Once you become involved in the scene, that makes you an accomplice. If you ride with me and I do something wrong, they got both of us. And also I was thinking is, if they're twins, did they even see who was in the car? Or they was assuming that just because they might have picked him up and he had a brother, they couldn't distinguish the DNA because they were both twins. One didn't tell on the other, so they convicted both of them. Because they figured if we get both of them, one of you is not going to get away. So that's the kind of place where I'm coming from. And I'm thinking,
was the twin? Did they even know that twin was even in the vehicle?
That's what I'm thinking about. They said somebody came up, drove over there, picked him up. I'm like, did they see him in the car? Did they see who was driving?
Did this happen before or after the murder?
Yes, I'm saying. So my thing I was thinking is like, how did they find out that his brother was even involved? Or are they assuming since he's a twin, we can't tell the difference, so we're going to have both of you come back?
That's a good question.
Okay, so in light of new evidence, they never found the car, they never found the murder weapon. Okay, so how can you convict anybody without the murder weapon or without the car? What evidence is in the car? So basically you're just taking it off of a tape and saying, oh, well, that looks like them. Let's go ahead and convict them and convict them of murder, and we're done with the whole situation. Okay.
You know what, let me give you some quick evidence, right? So how it plays out is that they actually parked in front of a surveillance camera, so that was identified that both twins were on the scene. Because they actually parked at the store in front of a surveillance camera. So they've been identified both being on the scene. Now the question is, the person that was in the car, what were they doing? Were they an accomplice? Were they there getting some bubble gum, going to the store to buy some beverages? What were they actually doing at that point? Again, when you hear gunshots, you go to aid your brother. You get in the car with them. At that point, you don't know what's going on. You just heard gunshots. Hey, let me get my brother. Let's get out of here. Let's get away. Let's get safe, right? He hops in the car. So you're gone. So at that point, you don't know what's going on. Did he find out later? Maybe he did. I don't know, right? I don't know their bond. They're twin bond. They're going to be honest with each other, but maybe he found out later on or not. But at that point, when he left the scene, he had no clue what was going on. He just, hey, let me get my brother. Let's get away from here.
Yeah, I guess also I was thinking as far as that happens, but once they look at that surveillance tape and went to the brother or went to pick him up, they probably questioned both of them. So the one that was actually driving could have said, hey, I didn't have anything to do with it. I was in fear for my brother's life, so I went to his aid. I wasn't involved in the shooting. I didn't know what was going on. But since he didn't say he didn't do it, he backed his brother and basically said that, he is my brother. I'm not snitching on him or anything like that. So if he's going down, I'm going down with him. So he didn't actually try to defend himself or defend that he was right or wrong. He just basically took the rap alongside of him. So that's the only thing that I was, as far as me thinking about how can they distinguish the difference between who might have done it and who didn't do it. Because if you didn't do something, I'm pretty sure you're going to say, hey, I didn't do it. I was just going to help my brother. I didn't know if his life was in jeopardy, if he was in danger. That's the only thing I had to do with it. But if I don't come out and say that, then they're going to assume I was an accomplice. Well,
I think it was just either poor police work or poor work on the lawyers or the prosecutor. Because if you hear a gunshot and you run inside to see, hey, my brother's in there, and you ran inside the store and stuff like that, and they're gonna ask, well, did you see your brother shoot this man? I didn't see anything because I ran in the store to see what happened. So I didn't actually see him pull the gun and shoot him. You know what I'm saying? Because if I see my brother shoot him, why would I run in the store if I see him shoot somebody? I'll wait for him to come out so we can go. So
his brother came and picked him up and they jetted out. Yeah, it was car wash bay.
Say that again, explain that to him.
All right, so it wasn't actually in the store. There's the surveillance footage shows, so he was actually in a car wash stall, right, where the crime took place. His brother was parked away, so when the gunshot was heard, all this took place inside the car wash stall. His brother drove around. The shooter jumped in the car. They both fled. So that's how it went. It wasn't actually in the store.
But the person that he shot was in the store?
No, the person he shot was in the car wash stall.
Was in a car wash stall?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but after reviewing a lot of the limited footage that we actually have, there are a lot of loopholes, a bunch of questions that could be asked, which is mainly beyond our scope. So they reached out to us for assistance. This is not in our scope. We're not lawyers. We're not police officers. We're not law enforcement. So if there's any lawyers that see this, please reach out. We can give you our information at the bottom of the screen here, and then you can reach out to us, give us any guidance if you'd like to take on the case, or at least look for new evidence.
Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you will, and sometimes you won't.